Is on marijuana and the effects that it has on the body. So to begin, marijuana is like the crushed leaves, the flowers, the stems, and the seed parts of the cannabis plant. And there are three main strains. So that is Cannabis sativa, Cannabis indica, and Cannabis ruderalis. Cannabis ruderalis is kind of debated on if it's actually a third strain or if it's more of like a subcategory. So a cannabis derivative is hashish, and it contains a pure form of resin. And this type of marijuana consists of the sticky resin from the flowers of the female plant, and it tests for a THC content of about 20.76%. Another cannabis derivative is marijuana wax, and it is known as earwax, butter, honey oil, shatter, or BHO, and dabs. And to this date, it is one of the most powerful and most potent types of marijuana on both the illegal and legal drug market, since it tests at about 90% pure THC, which is pretty high compared to hashish that's only testing at about 20%. And even though marijuana is potentially less addictive, it is one of the few drugs that kind of remains very controversial. And the heart of this controversy is due to the fact that marijuana being an illicit drug. It has been used for medical purposes to relieve symptoms of like glaucoma and various cancers due to its ability to alleviate nausea and for pain relief. So some popular forms of consumption are smoking or oral consumption. And smoking or vaporizing is popular because it leads to a quicker, stronger high. And some popular brands would be like Stizzies and Plug and Play, and they're very potent and they get the user to feel full effects within minutes. For edibles, almost any type of dessert or drink can become an edible. Some of the more popular and known are like cookies and brownies, which use cannabis butter to get the user high. And this cannabis butter is literally just butter that is infused with marijuana, and it allows the user to feel the effects. So for the effects on the body, the high that is experienced by marijuana doesn't just depend on the quality of the drug, but also like the user's expectations, the physical surroundings where the drug is taken, and how the drug is taken. So whether it's smoked or ingested. The effects also change depending on the strain that is being consumed. So for an indica strain, the relaxation of the body and stress relief, as well as the euphoria, is experienced. While when consuming something with sativa, there's a lot of energetic feelings that are given, and it gives like a boost of creativity. Either way, when consuming marijuana, there is a state of euphoria, dry mouth, and reddening of the eyes, elevated heartbeat, and there is a stimulation of the appetite, which is known as the munchies. For the reddening of the eyes, it is caused by the THC, since it decreases the blood pressure, which dilates the blood vessels, and then it increases the blood flow all throughout the body. For some mental effects, it causes like a temporary loss of memory, and it can even cause intense vision. So when smoking something a little bit more potent. For the long-term effects of marijuana on the body, they're still not very well understood. And from what is known is that it can cause issues with brain development, respiratory problems, and fertility issues. So marijuana can affect the brain, and this is very dangerous when teenagers begin to use marijuana, since they still have a lot of developing to do. It is known that marijuana can reduce thinking, memory, and learning functions, and it affects how the brain builds connections between the areas necessary for these functions to go through. And marijuana's effects on these abilities can either last like a long time, or they can even be permanent. And when using e-cigarettes or vapes, it can lead to serious health complications such as like bronchiolitis obliterans, which is often referred to as popcorn disease. And for fertility issues, marijuana suppresses the production of hormones that help regulate the reproductive system. So for men, it can cause decreased sperm counts, and for heavy users, it can even cause erectile dysfunction. While for women, it can cause them to have irregular periods due to this heavy marijuana use. And for mental effects, it can cause long-term memory, and it kind of alters a person's perception of space and time, and it is also linked to mental illness. So people with schizophrenia are more at a risk due to the hallucinations that marijuana can cause on its own. And here are my references. Thank you.